Is the hairline reveal? How's that looking? Hell yeah, it's grown enough so I don't look like an egg. Hello people of YouTube. Let's do a Q&A. I've built this channel to be about discussion, to talk to you, the viewer, and have discussions about film and discussions about stuff surrounding film. And so far it's been mostly me making these videos and talking to you. But I asked you to talk to me, so a couple days ago I put out a call on my Instagram and Twitter for people to ask me questions about anything and everything that seemed interesting. So let's get into it. Starting off with a hot one, we've got Cam asking me, do you think it is ever appropriate to censor films and where should the line be drawn? That's quite a spicy one. I think there's two clear sides to censorship. One of them is government censorship, and it's external censorship, which is stuff that comes from government pressures, such as the Chinese government banning footage or any mention of the Tiananmen Square massacre, for example. And that is a whole discussion about political motives and the way political regimes influence the minds of their citizens. And that's a whole conversation to have right there. But the one I'm more interested in is self-censorship. And it's more about drawing a line where you feel there should be one. My main experience with this was when I saw The Nightingale at Sundance London 2019. Now, The Nightingale is a fantastic film. It's by Jennifer Kent, who did The Babadook. It's a revenge story set in Aboriginal Australia where it's just brutal from start to end, where every hit, every moment feels real and potent. However, at the beginning of the film, and the event that sets everything in motion is a really, really long, graphic rape scene that ends with a baby being thrown against a wall. Some people walked out after that, and I almost walked out. I'm someone who can stomach a lot of gore and doesn't really mind certain things in film, but it just felt gratuitous, and like, it could have been done more tastefully. I understand the point Jennifer Kent was trying to make. I understand it was supposed to be brutal, it was supposed to be unforgiving, it was supposed to make you feel that hate. But it was too much, for me at least, and a lot of people agreed if you look it up online. So, self-censorship, there's a fine line between it. The same with sex and film overall. Sex and film is a tool. It can push the story forward, it can bring meaning to a scene, it can develop characters, but Netflix shows, for example, they just use sex to hook the viewer in and don't really add much into it. So self-censorship is really common sense. Bilad asks, favourite Vine of all time? And favourite TikTok of all time? I've had to think about this. I've actually had to think about this. But my favourite Vine of all time probably is Stab, I Coulda Dropped My Croissant.
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant!
That one, there's just something about the delivery of that line and the build-up to it that just fits perfectly, even within 6 seconds. As for my favourite TikTok, it's hard to say. I'm currently on a monkey meme kick. It's just, yeah, videos of monkeys like lifting weights or bringing beers. It's just a vibe.
Men only have 4 moods.
Got my mind.
You and me, we made a vow.
But my favourite TikToker at the minute is Alan, or Al Woohoo. He's basically a power lifter, bodybuilder, and he just makes this ridiculous face. Here's some examples of his TikToks.
Yeah, having a gorilla back is nice, but how about having a nice fat juicy fucking gorilla dumpy? Having a nice fat juicy dump truck is a symbol of power. Your dumpy is responsible for any thrusting, and you know what that means. You can see here on the left I'm 168, and on the right I'm 178. And on the right I look so much more powerful. It's because I packed on 10 pounds onto my dump truck. So you better be doing your squats and your deadlifts if you want that nice fat juicy fucking gorilla dump truck.
And to follow up, Bilad asks, do you in fact believe that Vine walked so TikTok could run? And I say yes. It was a logical progression because 6 seconds was the perfect format for Vines. It was just snappy, quick, and it was meant to be consumed the way it was. They built the feed chronologically. Everyone was being given the content at the same time. Vine's success relied on everyone being on the same trend, everybody watching the same Vines, everything going viral within the bubble. Now TikTok has taken that to the next level and it's adapted it to our current state of social media. So TikTok is all about having your own personalized feed and expanding it from 6 seconds to 15 and even up to a minute. And it all just makes sense. It's just the next evolution in viral online filmmaking. I just call it TikTok film. Danny asks, thoughts on Nouvelle Vague films, French New Wave? Social relevance, recommendations, general opinion. Now, I'm going to be fully candid. I don't actually think I've seen many French New Wave films. It's a genre I've not explored too much, and I really should. But what little I know about it, I think that it's a genre that was really groundbreaking at the time. It has very, very distinct characteristics, which is why people keep returning to it. And honestly, I should probably watch it. I should watch it. I really need to educate myself on French New Wave. So sorry, Danny, but I'm a pleb when it comes to that side of film. Mosin asks, when reviewing or discussing a film, how can you balance your feelings on the technical achievements versus the more human side of things, i.e., how it made you feel on a personal level? This is something I've talked about on the channel a lot already. I believe that technical aspects of films, so cinematography, editing, sound design, costume design, anything that essentially can be measured quantifiably, so something that you can actually touch or actually do, I think can be critiqued. There is good cinematography, there is bad cinematography, there is good editing and there is bad editing, like the example I gave with that shot from Taken. However, the way a film makes you feel, that can completely outweigh the quality of the film, the actual technical quality of the film. There's no shame in liking just B-movies or just really crappy rom-coms, for example. At the end of the day, films are entertainment as well as they are art. So it's about bringing the two together. There is a sweet spot where you will find, I like the way these films look, I like the technical aspect of these films, but they make me feel great and I have fun. Or you just don't care at all about the technical aspects and you just have a good time. Maisie has asked me 4 questions, so I will work through them. Question number 1. What makes a good film? That ties into what I just said about the way films make you feel. A film is good if it resonates with an audience, if it tells a meaningful story and makes you feel a certain emotion that the director intended. So a good horror film might be there to make you feel scared. If it did that, it was a good film because it did what it intended. Same goes with action. If it makes you feel excited and in the moment, that's a good action film. It's all about intended feeling. If every film made had the same actor playing the main character, who would you pick? Ooh, I want to say Christian Bale. It's just, he's so versatile. The fact that he's done all these really physical transformations from The Machinist, where he was super skinny, all the way until Vice, where he put on a ton of weight for the role. I think Christian Bale will be a very adaptable actor. The other obvious answer is Scarlett Johansson. This one's more about journalism. How do you find stuff to write about as a student journalist, and what's your approach to writing? I want to make a video about student journalism and how to get into it. The main thing to keep in mind is do what you would want to read. Make what you would want to consume, right? So that's what I do with these videos. I try to make videos that I myself would like to watch. I wrote articles that I wanted to write, and the number one way to do that is look at what's around you. A lot of students will be going into the world of journalism saying, I want to review The Avengers. That is such an obvious thing to do. What's unique around you? Like Manchester has all these local cinemas and local festivals. Go to those festivals. Get involved in it. If you do news, for example, talk about student issues in your area or student issues from people of your background, whether it's ethnic or economic. There's a lot to talk about, but it's basically what's around you. What can you do with what surrounds you? The last question by Maisie is top 3 music genres you couldn't live without. Maisie's a radio host. She is now the station manager for Fuse FM, the University of Manchester's student radio, so go listen to Maisie's show, Mind If I Expose. Go do it now. My top 3 genres. I have a wide variety of genres, but I think I would need 3 genres that would have to fill the different roles. A genre that would calm me, a genre that would be interesting and versatile, so something that would always keep me excited, and another genre which I guess fits both roles, which is a genre that is just almost easy listening and also exciting. Genre that calms me. Jazz. I'm a huge fan of jazz. I just absolutely love it. I have a playlist full of jazz, anywhere from Japanese jazz to early Miles Davis. But it's a lot more relaxed jazz. I don't really like Miles Davis' later stuff, which is really experimental. It's just a bit abrasive. A genre that keeps me interested would probably be hip-hop. I just love hip-hop. I have been really enjoying Injury Reserve since one of their members passed away. I revisited all their discography, and just so much in there that keeps me interested and just sometimes confused because it's so intense. I saw them live and it was incredible. And the genre, the final genre, I think would have to be metal as a whole. I know it's a bit vague, but my favorite metal is not so much power metal, but it's more stoner metal, sludge metal. I really enjoy that, just the heavy riffs. It's good workout music, but it's also something I also work to that sometimes. You'd be surprised. Here's some recommendations. I'll pop them on the screen right now for stoner metal. Carl asks, are Marvel movies cinema? You're gonna get me cancelled, mate. You're gonna get me cancelled. No, honestly, I think it's a very interesting debate. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the impact of Marvel films, and I feel that they do have their place in cinema. There are interesting stories to be told. I mean, Black Panther. That's a film that did a lot for black representation in cinema. He was a black superhero, or is a black superhero, and he has an important role within the MCU, so there definitely is a positive side to Marvel films. However, I do kind of side with Martin Scorsese, who said Marvel movies aren't cinema, and then doubled down in his New York Times article. But you need to read that article for context. He really explained his thought process and what he means by it. He almost took a Marxist approach to this issue, where essentially his point was that Marvel films are like a theme park. They are meant to be consumed, they are meant to connect with the masses and get people to be excited about them. Whereas cinema as a whole has that fine balance between enjoyment and technicality of new stories being told. Marvel films pander to people, Disney films pander to people, and it's just a bit of a corporate feel to them. That said, they do have their place, and enjoy them if you want to enjoy them. I won't judge you. I enjoy some of the Marvel films. Iron Man 1, fantastic. And the final question, and I love this question. Chris, thank you for this question. Chris asks, if you could remake any movie in the style of a Muppets film, where every single character is a Muppet, except for one human actor, which film would you pick, and which one character would still be human? I thought about this a couple months ago. I went through this and I decided, Crank. Jason Statham is the only human. Just imagine it. If you've seen Crank, you know exactly what I'm talking about and you'll be laughing right now. If you haven't, Crank is a B movie where Jason Statham gets injected with a poison that will kill him if his heart rate gets too slow. So he does all sorts of crazy stuff to keep his heart rate up. He drives on oncoming lanes, he does a ton of cocaine off the bathroom floor at one point. He has sex in public, all sorts of crazy stuff. But imagine if all that happened and he was the only human. So just Jason Statham going crazy, killing Muppets and shagging Muppets. I'd watch that. Thank you very much for your questions. Thank you for giving your time to the channel. It's been a pleasure to make a variety of content and make exciting videos that I'm honestly really enjoying. I don't have a lot of time on my hands right now, but this is my passion project. This week I will be covering Grimfest, a horror festival from Manchester. It's fantastic, and you should get yourself some tickets right now. Festival passes are available on their website. Give them a go. It's going to be virtual, so you can take part from anywhere in the country. And once again, thank you. This channel wouldn't exist without you, the viewer, watching the videos and hearing me talk about all sorts of films. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We'll do another Q&A down the line, and I'll answer all your questions. And let me know what you want to see. What films should I review? My social media is below if you want to argue. And once again, thank you. See you soon.